Hello students, I am Dr. Garima Srivastava from Lal Bahadur Shastri College, Lucknow. Industrial relations, they are the relations between the workers and the management. This relation needs to be very strong when we talk about when we talk about organization structure, when we talk about functions of an organization and its performance. Our today's topic is related to international industrial relations. Now, talking about industrial relations in international terms is called as international industrial relation. According to ILO, International Labour Organization, industrial relations deal with either the relationship between the state and employers, workers organization, or relation between occupational organizations themselves. So, when we talk about industrial relations, it means relations between workers and the management, relations between the workers and trade unions and the management. International industrial relations handles complicated associations between employers employing foreign nationals, employees of various nationalities, home and host country governing bodies and trade unions of organization in addition to national and international federation. So, now if we talk about industrial relations in the international context, when there are a very number of people with different skill sets coming from various other countries, over here international industrial relations become a complex part, because people come from different parts of the world, they come and join your organization, different laws apply in your organization when you are in a host country. So, over there is a need to strike a balance so that the people remain satisfied as compared to their own country, and they work for your organization in the host country. So, they come from various nationalities, they come from the host country, they come from the third nation countries. So, we need to check out their demands, we need to check out their needs before employing them, and international industrial relations need to be foreseen, all laws should be foreseen before applying it to any of the organization. So, we can say an organization that is having a subsidiary in the host country will have to deal with industrial relations in terms of international context, because several other laws that are there in the host country will come into play, will be applied, will be implemented on your subsidiary once you are in the host country. Some of the factors that are related to industrial relations when we talk about in international context are socio-ethical and cultural factors. So, we have added an ethical word with socio, that means when comparing with the home country, over there some certain laws are there which are applied on the employees of the organization. Similarly, once you are going to start up a subsidiary in the host country, over there also several socio-ethical factors or cultural factors will be applied, because you are going to hire people from the same country, same host country, or you will be hiring people from the other countries. So, industrial relations are basically based on the safeguarding of the interest of the people, of the employees that you are going to employ in that country. Definitely that host country will also be applying certain laws that are being either being set up by different federations, either being set up by International Labour Organization if your country and that country is the member of International Labour Organization. So, different conventions are passed in those meetings that are being done in the international organization. Then through this meeting the different countries get a network, get a framework to be applied in their own country through different laws. So, you need to keep social factors, you need to keep cultural factors, people belong to different societies, they belong to different cultures, and while entering an organization, this social factor and cultural factor may present problems like conflicts or disputes among various other people who have come from different other cultures or society. So, when talking about industrial relations, the principles of organization should be kept very clean, very transparent, so that the people are not able to play with socio and cultural factors. Second is technological advancement. Now, as the technology advances, it is not necessary that the people also advance, though human resource management focuses on training and development of people, so that they are there, they are retained with the organization for a longer period of time. But sometimes it happens that it happens that the people are not able to adapt themselves with the technological change that come from the external environment. Now, when they are not able to adapt, they are resistant to this change. Of course, they will be needed to be shifted to some other place where they may work without this technological advancement. Over here, a problem comes when you try to shift, when you try to transfer a person from one say one part of the subsidiary to the other part of the subsidiary on the basis of technology. Sometimes what happens, a feeling of frustration, a feeling of being rejected comes into the mind of the employee. So, you need to keep into mind that with advancement of technology, the growth of organization definitely comes, but with the growth of technology, you need to bring about more and more advanced training and development systems, so that you can keep pace with the people also, they are also upgraded according to the upgradation of the technology. Then comes market condition. Market condition is directly related to availability of labor, availability of workers, employees in the host country. So, if we can directly say, if we have we have a lot number of people in the host country who are available to work with your organization, of course, the negotiation power vests with the organization. Why? Because it is open, it has a lot number of people, a pool of talent outside who can come and join the organization. They can offer the salary, the salary that the organization wants, and the person will be most willing to join the organization. On the contrary, if we see that the market condition is not good, you are not getting that skilled people that you require for your organization. Maybe you will be needing to bring that person from some third nation country, or you will be needing to bring that person from the home country. Now, over here the situation reverses. Organization will not be having more of the negotiation power, and it will be employing the person on the basis of on a compensation based on the industry wide comparison that is there in the host country. So, market conditions will definitely affect the industrial relations in the organization. Then comes the economic condition. Now, when we talk about economic condition, it means the status of economy or the money condition of a country. So, if the economy is good, there is a good pocket size of the people in that country, the people are more if the pocket size is more, it is directly dependent on the demand will generate, pocket size will definitely give them more and more demand to for the product, and if demand is there, of course, flourishing of the industry will be there. On the contrary, if we see, if the economic conditions are not good, or say suppose they start deteriorating in the country where we have this subsidiary, of course, we will be needing to cut down on cost as compared to as regard to various human resources, as regard to various raw materials or our products or our different lines of processes. Why? Because we are not able to earn that much in that decreasing economy of the country. So, we will be needing to cut down on various cost of the organization. So, once you are into cutting cost of the salaries of the people or the compensation package of the people, there will be a retaliation, there will be a stress amongst the people, and it will definitely lead to some of the changes in the industrial relations. Then comes international relations. Now, international relations, when we talk about this, it is related to relation of a company, of an organization with the government, with the political parties of that country. So, over here, how far your country is good at its relation with that particular country. So, when we talk about international relations between various countries, different organizations, different associations have been set up where the countries are the member, and when the countries are member of this these particular associations, they follow particularly one set of rule that they make up, they agree to in the meetings of these associations, like we can say NAFTA. Then comes the psychological factor. When we talk about the psychological factor, it is related to the psyche of the person, psyche of the employee, how far he is being able to adjust himself in the external environment. So, this psychological factor will be taken into consideration, that his satisfaction level, his need level, if the organization is considering his needs, how far he is able to understand that the organization is considering his needs. So, if his psychological factor are more satisfactory, the industrial relations will be of a peaceful nature. We have three major actors of industrial relations: workers and their associations, employers and their associations, and the government. So, when we talk about industrial relations, these three actors, or we can say these three elements, are the basic factors that come into play. First of all, we have workers and their association. Now, when we talk about workers, it means all kinds of workers, like we have blue collared workers, we have white collared workers, we can have skilled, semi skilled or non skilled workers, we can have technical workers. So, there are different categories of workers, and the organization will be requiring different number of these types of workers. So, of course, workers are the backbone of an organization, we can say a valuable asset of the organization, the human resources of the organization. Now, their association means nowadays workers are having their own association. Sometimes there are trade unions that play a role of their associations. Then comes employers. As the workers have different demands, similarly employers also have their own demands in front of the workers. So, employers are the person, are the people, are the group of people who pay for the worth that the workers have given, worth of the work that the workers have given to the employers. Their association means employers also have their association, because sometimes what happens in Solace, employers are also being exploited among in front of the demands of the workers. The third party that we have is the government. Now, government plays a role by preparing rules, regulations, different bylaws for these workers and the employers, so that none of these are being exploited against each other. Then comes trade unions and their roles. Now, when we talk about trade unions in an organization, they are the unions. When we talk about trade unions, means a group of people who come together, come forward to help the workers in an organization, to safeguard the interest of the workers in an organization. These trade unions are formed. So, trade union in an organization is a group of workers who come together to achieve some common goal, such as protecting of integrity of their trade, improving safety standards, and attaining better benefits and wages. These can be some of the objectives of a trade union. Now, trade unions solely work for the workers, they work for the upgradation of the workers, growth of the workers, they work for the safeguarding measures of the workers, they continuously check that their wages are being paid on time. Definitely if the wages are less, so they demand for more wages for the workers. So, for this we have certain of the conditions that the trade unions may demand for the workers. First of all is to attain more economic security and permanent employment. The very first point for which trade unions work is attainment of economic security. That means whatever wages the person is getting, they ensure that this wage is continued to be there for the worker for a longer period of time. then and then it becomes a permanent in nature. Then secondly, to improve bargaining power and balance it with that of the management. Of course, when trade unions come into play, they can put up a pressure upon the management to understand and fulfill the demands that are being put up by the employees. So, trade unions are there which give strength to the workers, which give strength to these workers in presenting their grievances, in presenting their issues in front of the management, and they have a bargaining power. Why? Because if workers will not be there, you will not be able to get the productivity. So, it gives more strength to the bargaining power of the workers and their association. To redress workers' grievances. So, suppose not only the demands, not only the issues are being taken up by the trade unions, different grievances that are there with the workers, like say suppose certain compensation issues, certain illness issues are there, certain wages related to leaves are related. All these types of grievances are also taken up by the trade unions in front of the management. Fourthly, to inform workers' views, ideas, problems and grievances to the management. Now, they listen to these grievances, these issues of the workers, and they present it in front of the management. So, they can be acting as a mediator, they can be acting as a negotiator between the workers and the management. They put up their issues, they put up their problems in front of the management, and what management can do, they can understand this problem, they try to solve this problem, and they come up with various solutions that they can give to the workers through these trade unions. Then, to secure protection for unexpected economic needs like illness, accident and injury. Apart from various grievances, apart from various other issues that are there with the worker, some of the issues that pop up simultaneously, or that may come up in the way just like that, like illness or accident or any injury issues. All these issues are also being taken up by the trade unions. Then next is to satisfy their social needs. Now, to satisfy their social need means to give them a kind of recognition, to give them a kind of security by way of increasing their salary, or by way of giving them places to live, or arranging for education of their children. All these are related to the social security of the person. Then satisfy their needs for belonging. While giving satisfaction to the needs, social needs of the employee, the trade unions are also responsible to satisfy their needs for belongingness to the organization. So, once the organization starts thinking about the workers, the worker also feel that yes, the organization is thinking about me, and they start thinking that they belong to this organization, they become more and more loyal to the organization. So, to bring up this kind of feeling amongst the workers, trade unions play a lot of role. Then lastly, to secure power. Trade unions often have power, they have an objective of securing more power. Why? Because they have a lot number of people behind them who are the workers in various industries, and when these workers from various industries, if they stop working, the work of the industry, work of the organization will automatically stop. So, what happens? Trade unions are automatically vested with this power. The thing is that they just work positively for the interest of the workers. Then we have, when we talk about industrial relations, we have another aspect, that is collective negotiations. Now, collective negotiations we say is the discussion on a particular issue between the workers and the management, and we may or may not have trade unions in between, and both of them come together to a certain solution in agreement. Collective bargaining is a method by which trade unions protect and improve the conditions of their members' working life. Now, over here when we talk about the members of trade union, the members of the trade unions are different workers from different other industries. Collective negotiations has certain characteristics like It is a group action by workers and their association. Collective negotiations, collective bargaining we can say is a group action. A person in solace, an employee in solace will not be able to collectively bargain with the industry people, with the employers at all. So, for this bargaining a group of people has to come forward, because they can put more pressure on the management for satisfying their demands. Secondly, it is flexible and mobile. When we talk about collective negotiations, it should always be flexible. That means whenever we as a worker are going to present our views in front of the management, the views and the probable solution should be the members should be flexible enough to adapt to those views. They should be flexible enough to get up to the to take up those solutions that the management give them. Why? Because often what happens, without workers the management will also not be able to work, but without management also, without organization also, the worker will not be able to earn. So, somewhere in between, in mid of the line, you have to be very much flexible with your management. So, not the whole issue can be resolved on the basis of the demands of the worker or on the demands of the employer. Both have to get on a midway for that. Then it is a two-party approach. Now, when we talk about two-party approach, it means one party is the worker and the other party is the employer. Trade unions just act as a mediator, they have very less role. Still, trade unions are more powerful because they act as a mediator, they are the representative of workers from various industries. So, of course, they have a lot of power because lot of workers are their members. Then comes, it is a continuous process. The process of negotiation in an organization, whether talking in national terms or international terms, it is always a continuous process. So, what happens once a demand is fulfilled or you have come to a probable solution with your management, the other demand will pop up, because there are certain factors, certain n number of factors which are related to the workers. So, definitely if one factor is resolved, the other factor is going to come. Then it is an industrial democracy at work. Now, when we talk about industrial democracy, it means freely presenting our ideas, freely presenting our demands, our issues in front of the management. Now, earlier what used to happen was, the people from the industry, the workers from the industry were not able to present their views in front of the management. So, for that they used to take up the help of different trade unions, and these trade unions presented their views on their behalf in front of the management. Nowadays what has happened, the industry or the people or the employer have given encouragement to the workers more and more, so that they may come up with their suggestions, they may come up with their issues directly to the management. This is the basic reason why nowadays trade unions are lesser in number, they are decreasing now. Now, the very next point related to industrial relations is conflicts and disputes. So, when we talk about industrial relations, conflicts and disputes are also there. So, we need to understand what are conflicts and how are they different from disputes, because these are the basic factors for collective bargaining, collective negotiation, and they are also the factors for the issues which the workers present in front of the management. So, according to John Burton, a dispute is a very short term disagreement that can result in a reaching to certain form of resolution. But when we talk about conflict, it is a long term conflict, it is a long term activity, and it is very deeply rooted. So, we as an human resource management person, we should more focus on conflicts rather than disputes, though disputes should also be settled then and there itself. Some of the causes of industrial disputes are economic causes, which include the wages, bonus, the different kinds of allowances like dearness allowances, the conditions of work that the person is having at his workplace, the working hours, the leaves, the holidays, all these are the economic causes of dispute among the worker and the management. We also have non-economic causes that like recognition of trade unions, victimization of workers, then again ill treatment of bosses in the organization, sympathetic strikes, political causes. These are the non-economic which are not related to the money at all. We have different types of disputes in the organization. It may be related to money, like economic strike. It may be sympathetic strike, which is collectively to stop the work in the organization. It may be a general strike. It means strike by the members of almost all the unions in the region or the industry. Sit down strike, they sit down in the place of the work, but stop work. They do not work at all. Slow down strike, employees remain on the job, but do not do the work on time. Lockout is declared by the employees to put pressure on the workers. Gherao. The term Gherao denotes a collective action initiated by a group of workers under which members of management of an industrial establishment are prohibited from leaving the business. So, now business premises. Now, over here Gherao can be taken up as an illegal action by the workers or the trade unions, where they block the exit of the business premises of the people, and they do not allow them to move out or in for certain time period until their demands are being satisfied. The last one is the picketing, which means when workers are dissuaded from reporting for the work by stationing certain men at the factory gates. Over here what happens, the trade unions station certain people at the gates of the factory, and they do not allow the employees or the workers to go inside and do the work. So, over here it is perfectly legal until this picketing does not involve any kind of influence. The next aspect of industrial relation is quality circles. Quality circles or quality control circle is a group of workers who do the same work or similar work, who meet regularly to identify, analyze and solve work related problems. So, these quality circles, what do? They have certain advantages. They improve communication, they make bring about more and more awareness in the management about the job related issues of the people. They also are related to the personal growth and development of the employees in the organization. Then they also help in enhancing decision making skills of the management, keeping in mind considering all the issues that are there amongst the workers, and they improve the motivation of the workers. Lastly, they also provide opportunity for recognizing individual improvement. So, what do quality circles do? They more and more focus on the quality of work that is being given by the workers, output of the workers, and they also focus on building up their morale, building up their motivation to work more and more towards improvement. Lastly, we have participative management as an element of industrial relation. It means it is a style of management that requires cooperation of the personnel. It aims to build commitment and develop initiative within work teams. Now, participative management means it encourages all the employees who are there in a team, it encourages them to work, to cooperate with each other, they participate. That means none of the member of the team is there who is not participating. So, participative management will encourage the people on their part, they will work their part, and management will do their part to motivate them, to reward them according to the work that they have done. So, we have all these elements as a part of industrial relations, and when we talk about industrial relations in international aspects, these particular elements need to be kept in mind so as to bring about conducive and good industrial relations amongst the workers and the management in the host country. Thank you.